For 31 years, a killer walked free. He murdered 10 people, sent taunting letters to police, and vanished without a trace. The case went cold. The families waited. The city of Wichita, Kansas lived in fear, then in uneasy silence. But the killer couldn't stay quiet. His ego wouldn't let him. And when he finally resurfaced in 2004, he made one tiny mistake. A single question, a simple lie, and a purple floppy disk that would bring his reign of terror to an end. This is the story of how 1990s technology caught one of America's most notorious serial killers. Let's go back to January 15th, 1974, Wichita, Kansas, a quiet winter morning. 4 members of the Otero family were found brutally murdered in their home. Joseph Otero, his wife Julie, and 2 of their children, 11-year-old Josephine and 9-year-old Joseph Jr. The crime scene was horrific. The killer had bound, tortured, and strangled each victim methodically. Police had no suspects, no clear motive, no witnesses. Then, in October of that same year, the killer struck again. Catherine Bright, age 21, was murdered in her home. This time, there was a survivor, her brother Kevin, who was shot but managed to escape and call for help. The city was terrified, but the murders stopped. Months passed, then years. Had the killer moved away? Had he died, been imprisoned for something else? Then in 1978, something chilling happened. A letter arrived at a local newspaper. Inside was a disturbing poem describing the murder of a woman named Shirley Vian, who had been killed the year before. The author provided details only the killer could know, and he gave himself a name: BTK. Bind, torture, kill. Over the next 13 years, BTK would kill 6 more people. He would send cryptic letters to the media and police, describing his crimes in graphic detail. He seemed to revel in the attention, in the fear he created. His communication stopped in 1979, though he killed twice more in the mid-1980s. Then, silence. Complete silence. By the 1990s, many investigators believed BTK was dead, in prison, or had simply stopped killing. The case went cold. Fast forward to March 2004, 25 years of silence. Then, out of nowhere, the Wichita Eagle newspaper received a letter. Inside was a photocopy of a driver's license belonging to one of BTK's victims, along with photos of the victim's body that had never been released to the public. BTK was back. And he was angry. Angry that a recent book about the murders hadn't given him enough credit. Angry that people had forgotten about him. His ego had brought him out of hiding. Over the next 11 months, BTK sent 11 different communications to the media and police. He left packages hidden in public places, in cereal boxes dropped at Home Depot, in plastic bags wedged into trees and parks. He sent puzzle pieces, word games, jewelry taken from his victims. He was playing a game, and he thought he was winning. Police formed a BTK task force. They analyzed every letter, every clue. But modern forensics weren't helping. The letters had no usable DNA. The photocopies revealed nothing. He was careful, methodical. Then the task force tried something clever. They began communicating back to BTK through the newspaper, placing coded ads asking him questions, trying to establish a dialogue. And BTK loved it. He loved the attention, the back and forth. He felt important again. In late January 2005, BTK left a package at a Home Depot parking lot. Inside was another letter, and at the end of it, he asked a question that would change everything. Can I communicate with you through a floppy disk without it being traced back to me? The police saw their opportunity. They placed an ad in the newspaper with a simple message: "Rex, it will be okay." It was a lie, but BTK believed them. On February 16, 2005, BTK left a purple Memrex floppy disk in the bed of a pickup truck at a Home Depot parking lot. The disk was inside a plastic bag, weighted down with a doll. Police retrieved it and immediately brought it to their computer forensics expert. On the floppy disk was a single deleted Microsoft Word document. But here's the thing about deleted files. They're not really gone. They're just hidden, waiting to be recovered. When investigators recovered the file, they found something that made their hearts race. Embedded in the document's metadata, the hidden information that Word automatically saves with every file, were two crucial pieces of information. The last person to modify the document, Dennis, and the name of the computer that created it, Christ Lutheran Church. That was it. That was the mistake. Investigators immediately began searching for a connection between someone named Dennis and Christ Lutheran Church in Wichita. It took them less than a day. Dennis Rader, age 59, president of the Congregation Council at Christ Lutheran Church, married with 2 children, compliance officer for Park City, Kansas, a Boy Scout leader, a church volunteer, a husband, and a father. And BTK. On February 25, 2005, just 9 days after the floppy disk was recovered, police arrested Dennis while he was driving. They had matched his DNA to evidence from the crime scenes. When interrogated, Rader was almost relieved. He wanted to be caught. He wanted the recognition. He had kept elaborate files on his murders, detailed drawings, calendars marking his victims' death dates. He had been hiding in plain sight for 30 years, living a double life no one suspected. In June 2005, Dennis Rader pleaded guilty to 10 counts of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to 10 consecutive life sentences with no possibility of parole. During his sentencing hearing, he gave detailed, emotionless descriptions of each murder. The families of his victims finally had answers, though the horror of what they heard would stay with them forever. So what's the lesson here? Dennis Rader was meticulous. He was careful. He evaded capture for 30 years. But his ego destroyed him. His need for attention brought him back into the light. And his one moment of trust, believing the police when they said a floppy disk couldn't be traced, ended his freedom. The very technology he thought would protect him exposed him in minutes. Metadata, digital breadcrumbs we leave without thinking. In 2005, most people didn't know what metadata was. Dennis Rader certainly didn't. And that ignorance sent him to prison for the rest of his life. Today, the families of BTK's victims continue to advocate for victims' rights. The survivors carry their trauma, but also their strength. And Wichita, Kansas remembers, not the killer, but the people he took, the lives he destroyed, and the courage of those who never stopped searching for justice. Sometimes the smallest details make the biggest difference. Sometimes a single lie catches a killer. And sometimes a purple floppy disk ends 31 years of terror. If you want to learn more about true crime cases where technology played a crucial role, check out the video in the description. And if you found this story as fascinating as I did, hit that subscribe button. We cover a new case every week. Thanks for watching, and remember, in the digital age, nothing truly disappears.